Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here coming at you again with another video, and I am here on my Dino a Day review series, and we are finally to a absolutely phenomenal tame, the Megalosaurus. Now, other than being absolutely terrifying on this map of Aberration, this is about the only map that he is good on, sadly, just because, well, he never falls asleep. So on every map, you see this guy's like asleep right now. When you wake him up, the Megalosaurus basically gets sleep up, and what'll happen is he'll go back to sleep once he hits that 120 marker, or if he just gets any at all, and then they go back to sleep. They also are extremely slowed and all that stuff, so on other maps they're not really useful. However, on Aberration, these things are the gigas of Aberration. They do insane damage. They're basically cannons. It's crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean by that. Now, this is a 150 tame, so you can get much better than this. I know that on most of my servers I had 449 melee, and we'd easily get him to 1,000 melee damage. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up to 1,000. And then we'd also get most of their hells up into the 20k range, and that's about what we did. Now, I'll put a few points into stamina, put a few points into weight, maybe a little bit into movement speed, and this right here suddenly turns the Megalosaurus into an absolute monster. Now, straight up off the bat, it has a crazy attack. Now, and the great thing about the Megalosaurus, it can attack really, really fast. Now, a lot of people underuse these things and underappreciate them because they don't understand how quickly they can truly attack. Like 805 damage, but they can do that like 3 times a second. So I'll go ahead and show you what I mean by that. So there's that 805. Most tames, like Rexes and stuff, have a charge time, and that charge time kind of disallows them to really do anything too overpowering, and then that's just how it is. Now, the Megalosaurus has also one other special ability before we kind of get into more about this guy. If you use its secondary attack, it'll pick up any small or mid-sized dino, including humans, in its mouth. Now, once it does that, you can chew on whatever you're chewing on. It does a lot less. It's like 10 times less damage, but you can hold it in your mouth and it cannot attack you, which is pretty useful, obviously, because you can do it with things like right over here, the Titan Boa. You can see just picking it up in his mouth, even though it's like a terrible animation, and he'll just sit and chew on it, and it's over. Now, that chew attack does like twice as fast. It's like 6 times a second-ish that he can do that. So he can cruise through things. Now, when you have these things imprinted, they can do some crazy damage output. They can have some awesome saddles on them. And then just in general, they are overall monsters. I mean, 1,600 damage in a matter of seconds is not bad. The only kind of negative is they're a little low to the ground, so things like crabs can pick you off decently easily. So you want to be careful about that. And on this map, they're pretty good at harvesting things. If you're looking to level up a Reaper baby, this is probably the best way to do it, because you can just run up and down the river and they shred literally everything. Now let's talk about a few more things these guys are good at. Now, if you eat meat with them, they have a really good recovery. Just like you can see right here. Sorry, I had a little bit of a burp there. But they have a pretty good recovery, just like normal dinos. They gain 5 HP per meat you feed them, but because they gather so much, you can pretty much counteract whatever damage things are doing to you pretty quickly. Now, they have a pretty low weight. That is one negative about them. That low weight can get you into a little bit of trouble if you're not paying attention to it. So just make sure you're minding that. Alright, so stamina-wise, they have stamina for days. They can run for quite a while, and they're pretty quick, which is nice. And if you're imprinted, obviously you get that speed boost, and that's super nice to have access to. And you can carry things as long as you're even on him or not on him. So you can technically knock things out, which is pretty cool. Using this guy as a taming method, just so you can see, when I pick it up, hop off, it still holds it. So that's pretty neat, in my opinion. But he is just a shredder of worlds. As you can see, he gathers. This is a 1x that we're on right now, so he's gathering some amazing resources on 1x. If you're on a boosted server, on a boosted weekend, or anything like that, you can get some crazy resources from the Megalosaurus. Now, there is nothing in this game on Aberration that can take out a Megalosaurus. It is the king. All you need to make sure you do is have a light pad on your shoulder, because Reapers have a chance But if you have a light pet on your shoulder, this thing does some stupid amount of damage to him. So you don't really need to worry about that. And I suppose I can try and, you know, show you that in a second here. But let's go ahead and go down here, because another cool thing about this guy, he does not take radiation damage. So you can pretty much wander around in the zone. I mean, look how beautiful this zone is. It's just super cool with me. But you can just wander around here endlessly, because that 0 rad damage is really nice. And you don't really need to worry about much. Now, even a pack of Ravagers don't really have a chance versus this guy. As you can see, it's just a shred fest. There's nothing that stands a chance against this guy. So that is something cool. Now, what we're heading towards right now, if you've never been down to this zone, it's really kind of cool. But we're heading down to the Rad Zone. Now, in the Rad Zone, what you can do is basically you get down in there, and it's radiation. So anything that's not an aberrant creature takes a huge amount of damage down there. The only thing that's an exception to that is the Carquinhos. And the Carquinhos is, you know, it's a little bit different. It just operates differently. I'm going to try and see if I can grab this guy and tame him. Should be able to. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. But that way I have something on my shoulder. Other than that, with the light boost on this guy, these nameless even will get more than one tapped. It's like an absolute obliteration that'll happen to them. Won't even be close. So now you can adventure around on Aberration quite a bit, which is nice. A lot of people like just, you know, staying in these trees. I'm a big fan of it because you can use them pretty well to pretty much get anywhere and do anything on this map. You don't have to really do a lot of the stuff that people say you have to. You can kind of just stick to the trees if you want to, but that's up to you. Let's see here. Where did I just end up? I am near where I want to be, so we're doing pretty well. So, one bad thing about these guys, and it's not really even a bad thing, it's kind of just a thing. They are not very good when it comes to the water. They are super slow, so do not ever bring them into the water like you saw me do right there. It's just a bad idea for you. Let me just tell you that now. So, avoid the water at all costs. And let's see if I can actually... And he decided that killing that is what he wanted to do. Thank you, Megalosaurus. But just so you can see, the Nameless take huge reduction in damage, and that's just something that they do. But if you really want... Oh, lag. Huge lag spike. If you really wanted to farm some of them up, you could do so very easily. And that's just how it works. I'm just going to go ahead and bomb my way down into the radiation zone, because that's what I'm going to do. And that's how we're going to do it. And, with this guy, this is how you get your first rock drake eggs too. So on this map, because nothing can really take him out, you can use him to just like fly down to the bottom of this basically. I mean, obviously you jump off right before you hit things, but if you aim towards this skeleton down here, you can actually get a pretty good straight shot to getting your first rock drake eggs down here. You don't have to, but notice how I'm just like peacefully floating. It takes forever to get down here when you're falling. Usually if you don't have a rad suit on, you'll die before you even hit the ground. So that's an interesting fact for you, but that's just how it works. So, but you're seeing he's not taking any radiation damage. Wow, those things spin at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But the only thing down here is rock drakes, nameless, and reapers. And this guy just absolutely plows it home on pretty much everything down here. So getting your rock drake eggs is not something you need to be concerned with if you bring one of these bad boys with you. And that thing is flipping into oblivion. But there's also black pearls down in this zone, so he's a great thing. You can cryopod him if you wanted to. Cryopods work pretty well. And just uncryo him down here. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's up to you. And again, you'll notice that his meat consumption is so high that you don't really need to concern yourself with huge amounts of healing. So I'm going to let these nameless build up for a second so a Reaper King can spawn in, just so I can show you that this thing just absolutely blows them all out of the water. Maybe, though, because they're not going to spawn in, which is frustrating. I need 10. I'm just going to walk nice and slow. And maybe we'll get lucky and get a couple more. Spawn in a Reaper King, please. So we need 10 nameless on us. And that's when a Reaper King can spawn in. We have 9. One more, 10, 11. We should see the alpha here turn into a nameless king pretty soon. Please? Maybe? Maybe he's just going to take his time. There's a ton of nameless down here. We should be getting them pretty soon to turn into one. Okay, so he is there. He's turning, so see him kind of changing there? Ah, no, he just popped. There he is. So there's the nameless king. So basically I can just sit here. You'll notice he only does 40 damage to it, so it's not very much. But you can pick him up in the air with the Megalosaurus like this, and that Reaper King can't do anything about it. And if you just sit here and attack, it is game over. Reaper Kings are awesome creatures, and they're really good at what they do. But when it comes to the thing that I am currently on, nothing beats it. Shred City is all it is. What level is this guy? 27? Okay. I should be able to shred him pretty quick. So I have no light on, and if I did, this thing takes like 10 times damage. So 400 a pop, maybe more than that. It might even be like 20 times damage. I don't remember the exact numbers. But if I sit here, I can just take out this thing, and it's pretty cool. So there he goes. Come on. You're dead. You just don't know it yet. So, come on now. Get taken out. Get taken out. I think I should call it like the true king of this map. Alright, come on. Toss him around. He's almost dead. Now we're talking. How close is this thing? It's got to be close. So imagine if I had a light pet on. This is like a 2 bite, maybe 3 bites, and it's dead. So we're a little bit non-lit up right now. He is super bloody though, so he should be just about dead. Subterranean Reaper King. There it goes. Alright, so as you can see, that thing just gets shredded by this. So that's just how the Megalosaurus works. Anyways, hopefully this helps you out, and hopefully you, if you do go to Aberration or want to, get some good Megalosaurus, because these things are monsters. Now, they only work at nighttime, sadly, so take that for what you will. Alright, teach. Out.